Joker here again today. Gonna go over my trade for 925. It was a SPY trade. It was supposed to be a day trade. Um, and real quick, this video is for entertainment purposes only, not financial advice. And I am simply going over the EMA stacked setup, crossover setup. Um, and today I went ahead and um, took SPY puts. I was only downside only in trades. Um, and I'm going to go over the entry trigger, where I entered, and where I messed up today, and good lessons for the future for myself. I already made my notes, and so yeah. So this morning on SPY, you had an open, you had a push up, retrace, and you had a lot of chop to start the day. But the initial entry based on the strategy was right here at 7:23 a.m. At this time I was still asleep, so I did not enter right here. However, so this is the entry trigger, but the other thing you got to look at is on the hourly chart here. We were also at the top of this current range, right? There's also technically a supply zone here as well if you look over, but if you're not worried about the supply zone being there, you're just looking at you're at the top of a range on the hourly and that's it. Right. So this was this candle this morning on the hourly. So we see this setup right here. This would have been our trigger. I bought in about right here, 811, because you had this pullback here, you had this doji, and then you had this dump. I bought 0 DTE 570 SPY puts. I should have bought the next day. Or I should have targeted much closer, and I'll explain that in a second. So you had this setup here, you had your entry here, you're at the top of the range on your hourly. Those are the requirements for the EMA setup, period, no matter what. If you're not there, you don't enter short. You don't. That's the rule. You've got to be at the top of whatever range your current range is to enter. So, see that setup, you go and you enter. So I held my puts all the way until about in here, because 0 DTEs got ripped up. This was a meta push, so meta push SPY back up, and actually I got out I think like right in here, and I took a very small loss. Now if these hadn't been 0 DTEs, if I'd gone the next day, I still would have been up in the trade. So that's a note. I was in right here. Sorry, right here. So keep that in mind. Now, where did I screw up for the 0 DTEs? Where's my target? So that was my entry, right? Where's my target? Let's go to the hourly. Actually, let's just change this to the hourly. So, where I screwed up is I decided that I wanted to trade and look for, once it broke this range here, I wanted to trade it all the way down to the bottom right here of this, is it this range? Sorry, no, that's the wrong chart. So I wanted it to come down from here all the way down to here. So my thought was we break this line, we're going to come all the way down to here. That's what I wanted it to do today. Obviously it didn't do that. What I should have done within the hourly, if I followed the rules properly, I should have targeted right here as the bottom of my range. That's the next bottom. So I would have been in all the way here, and I've traded those 0 DTEs all the way to here and been out. And did it hit it? Yes, whole time. Red, 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 red. Boom, would have blown through the target, hit it, and I would have been out before this pullback. Now did it go farther? Sure, but that's not the point. If you're trading the strategy properly, you go from here to here, especially with 0 DTEs, and you get out. All we've done since then today is chop around. You're sideways right now. If I had the next day expiry or further out, I could have potentially swing traded this because you're under EMAs now, and I still would have been up in the trade. You could have closed out for a profit, but 0 DTE and the volatility, I should have only gone from entering up in here to closing out right here, and I was trying to come all the way down here, so that was my mistake. But the EMA entry worked, and for 1, 2, 3, 4 hours, I'd have been done. I'd have been done it by 10:30 in the morning, so Pacific time. So that was my mistake. I targeted too far out. I should have closed out right here. The reason you could stay in this trade if you wanted to swing it, well, maybe not anymore, but you had the bounce, and then you had another crossover here. This could have been a short-term trade, and your EMA is still moving down. So your sell-off is still happening. You're under your 10 EMA on the hourly. This is still a bearish setup. I wouldn't be surprised if we see this tomorrow, but I don't know. Oh, it's pulling back now. People are buying. Point being, really as a day trade and the current trend, I should have only gone from here to here. Plus, if you threw Fibonacci's on it, this is about 50% anyway from here to here. So, could have targeted that, taken the 50%, because I think this got down to, was it 6, if you, depending on how you flip it, 618 or whatever. But this is about 50% anyway. So if you looked for that 50% retrace target, regardless, this is where I should have targeted with 0 DTEs. So, but point being, the entry, the strategy worked 110%. It was just my target. That was the, in my option choice, that was the failure in the execution. Also, if we look on here, the point that we hit and bounced, we did break through the overnight lows, but we did hit this previous level over here. So it's a good lesson. But if we had set this guy as a target, we absolutely hit the target. You could have taken profit there and been good to go. We also did bounce on this guy's low here. So either here or here. But if you're just looking at the daily chart right there. So that was my trade today. That did not pan out because of improper execution, range execution, and improper options choice due to the range execution. But if I had proper range execution, I would have banked about, hell, close to 80-90% on the trade on 0 DTE. So, yeah, that's the setup there. That's the setup there. And as you can see, came down, should have targeted there and gotten out. So.